feeling completely slammed by just the constant market shifts, AI evolving like every single week, and that pressure, to stay ahead in 2025.
Yeah, that relentless feeling.
Are you finding yourself stressed, maybe unfocused, losing sleep even because it all feels so unpredictable?
It's a common feeling right now, definitely.
Well, you might be making this critical mistake, letting all that external chaos just control your inner world.
But the solution might be, well, unexpected ancient wisdom, almost 2,000 years old.
Exactly. We're talking about the private journal of, believe it or not, a Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius.
And hold on, this isn't going to be some dry academic book report on meditations. That's not the plan.
No way. Our mission here is to really distill Aurelius's most powerful, most actionable principles, turn them into a kind of practical blueprint you can actually use, maybe even this week.
Yeah, the goal is to help you cut through all that noise, sharpen your focus, and build that resilience you really need to thrive in, let's face it, the complex landscape of 2025.
We're digging deep to pull out the core wisdom that's super relevant for entrepreneurs, for driven people like you right now.
Think of these principles as like a war chest for your mind. Battlefield-tested strategies for inner control, perfect for a chaotic world, which sounds a lot like 2025.
Okay, let's open this war chest. Takeaway number 1, the power of perception.
Right. This is huge for Aurelius, his central idea. External events don't actually harm you. It's your judgment about them that does the damage.
So it's our reaction, basically.
Exactly. He puts it so well. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Honestly, this might be the single most important concept for navigating 2025.
Wow. Okay, connect that to 2025 for us. Because, think about the negative news cycles, market downturns.
Competitors suddenly getting huge funding rounds,
Yeah.
Rapid tech changes thanks to AI making things obsolete overnight.
Or even just miscommunication or remote teams, which happens all the time.
Right. And the harm, Aurelius would argue, doesn't come from those events. It comes from the panic, the fear, the anger, the self-doubt that you feel in response.
So mastering perception isn't just like nice to have philosophy, it's survival.
It's absolutely crucial for dealing with the constant shifts, the information overload of today. It's foundational.
Okay, so action steps. How do we actually do this? What's the 2025 plan?
Okay, 3 steps. First, label, don't lament. When something negative happens, just consciously identify that initial emotional reaction.
Like, instead of, this is a disaster.
Yeah, think, okay, my judgment is calling this a disaster. Factually, X happened. The key is creating that separation between the event and your interpretation.
Label it. Okay. Step 2.
Reframe objectively. Ask yourself, what are the cold, hard facts here, stripped bare of all the emotions?
So for a failed pitch, for example.
The fact is, I presented our proposal. They said, no, not. I'm worthless. My idea is terrible.
And for AI disruption.
Fact. Technology X can now automate Y process, not my job is over or my business is finished. See the difference?
Yeah, it takes the sting out a bit. Okay, step 3.
Identify control. After you reframe objectively, focus only on what parts of this situation are actually within your direct control right now.
So for the failed pitch, what could that be?
Maybe following up for feedback, refining the pitch for next time, brainstorming other approaches.
And the AI example.
Learn the technology, find ways to integrate it, maybe pivot your focus. The point is, external events are uncontrollable, but your next action isn't.
That's really empowering. You mentioned Satya Nadella at Microsoft as an example of this in action. How did he use perception?
Well, think about it. When Nadella took over Microsoft, the perception, the external narrative wasn't great. People thought they were falling behind.
Right, I remember that. Missing the boat on mobile, things like that.
Exactly. But Nadella didn't just, launch a big PR campaign saying we're great. Instead, he focused internally and on actions. He fostered a growth mindset. He started collaborating, even with competitors, which was a big shift. And he shifted focus hard towards cloud and AI. These weren't based on trying to fight the old perception, but on objectively looking at the market realities.
So he reframed the situation through action, based on facts.
Precisely. It's a fantastic example of Stoic perception driving modern business strategy. Adapting based on objective conditions, not getting stuck in old narratives.
Makes sense. Okay, let's move to the second big takeaway. This idea of duty, community, and your role.
Yeah, this is where Aurelius talks about humanity being like one interconnected city or even one body. We're all parts of a whole.
Interesting metaphor.
And he believed our nature, our duty, is basically to contribute to that whole. There's that quote, something like, we were born for one another, either teach or tolerate.
Teach or tolerate.
The core idea is that our highest purpose isn't just about us. It's about serving others, the larger good.
How does that land in 2025? With everything so global, sometimes fragmented?
Well, I think it's becoming more critical than ever. Building businesses that aren't just about profit, but are ethical, resilient, and genuinely contribute to their ecosystem, employees, customers, the community.
Especially with remote teams, right? You need that shared purpose.
Absolutely. You need shared values when people are spread out. And think about the big ethical questions right now. AI, data privacy, responsible innovation. We have to consider the impact on the wider city, not just our own little corner.
Okay, so again, let's make this practical. Action steps for 2025.
3 things again.
Yeah.
First, define your business as good. What genuine value do you contribute beyond profit to customers, employees, maybe the community?
And actually write it down?
Yes. Write it down. Use it as a filter when you make decisions. What's our real contribution here?
Okay, step 2.
Act locally. Focus on your immediate circle, your team, your company. Build trust, support each other. This is crucial in flexible work environments. Make a real effort to create that digital community. Remember, your success is tied to theirs and vice versa.
So building internal cohesion. And the third step, engaging globally.
Yeah, engage with your industry, your customers. Seek genuine feedback. Are you truly serving people well? Be transparent, especially about AI and data. Act justly, even when the law doesn't force you to.
And that teach or tolerate part.
Be open to different views, tolerate disagreement respectfully, and where you can, teach, share your knowledge, help others.
You brought up ESG initiatives and Paul Polman at Unilever as a modern example here. Tell us about that connection.
Right. ESG gets criticism sometimes, sure, but the underlying impulse often connects back to this Aurelian idea. Polman at Unilever explicitly linked their business strategy to social and environmental goals.
He didn't see them as separate.
No, he saw Unilever as part of a global system with a duty to contribute positively. He had to tolerate external criticism sometimes, pushing back against short-term thinking.
So he tolerated the pushback.
While driving internal change and advocating for industry shifts, that was the touching part. It really shows how that ancient idea of civic duty can translate into modern corporate purpose.
Very interesting. Hey, if these ancient ideas are landing for you and feeling relevant for 2025, do give us a thumbs up. It genuinely helps other people find this deep dive. Okay, let's hit takeaway number 3, the discipline of action.
Okay, so Marcus Aurelius is constantly reminding himself, act justly, act wisely, act for the common good. But here's the kicker, especially for 2025. Act with the right intention without being overly attached to the outcome. He literally says, confine yourself to the present. Do the right thing, do it well, and then let the result be what it will be.
That feels radical. In today's world, it's all about results, metrics, KPIs.
Totally. And that obsession can lead straight to burnout, maybe even cutting ethical corners. It's also incredibly demoralizing when you pour effort in and the results don't immediately follow, especially when things feel influenced by like opaque algorithms or factors you can't see.
Yeah, that constant focus on external validation can really mess with your head.
It undermines your internal integrity and makes it hard to just keep putting in good, consistent effort.
Okay, so how do we cultivate this discipline? Action steps for 2025.
3 steps. First, define the right action. Before you jump into a task or make a decision, pause. Ask, is this just? Is it honest? Does it contribute positively? Tying back to that community idea, is it aligned with my values or just a shortcut?
Like an ethical check-in before acting. Got it. Step 2.
Focus solely on execution. Commit fully to doing the action with excellence, with presence. Try hard not to let your mind race ahead, worrying about the outcome, the sale, the pitch result, whatever. Do the work for its own sake because it's the right thing to do and do it well.
Easier said than done, but okay. Focus on the doing. And the third step, the tricky one.
Release the outcome. After you've done the action, consciously let go of your attachment to the external result. Evaluate the action itself, its quality, its alignment with your principles, not just the uncontrollable outcome.
Did I do my best? Did I act with integrity? That's the measure.
That's the Stoic measure, yes.
Yeah.
Did you play your part well?
You use LeBron James as an example here. How does he fit?
Well, think about his career. The insane level of focus on training, practice, refining his game. Those are the actions he controls. That's where the intense focus is.
Right, the process.
Exactly. Obviously, he wants to win championships. But his incredible longevity and sustained success, even now in the mid-2020s, isn't just about focusing on the trophy. It's about that relentless dedication to the process, the action itself, doing his part perfectly, game after game, practice after practice, regardless of immediate results or criticism.
That's a powerful image. Focusing on the quality of the work itself.
Okay, final takeaway. This feels like the big one for Stoicism. Accepting what you cannot control.
Yeah, this is really the foundation. It's the understanding that the world, the universe, operates according to its own logic, its own nature or providence, as Aurelius might say.
Things happen.
Things happen. Events unfold as they must. The only thing you truly have control over is your attitude towards those events, your internal response. Fighting reality is just futile. Acceptance brings peace. And this feels incredibly relevant for 2025, doesn't it?
Right.
Global economic weirdness, regulations changing, geopolitical stuff, radical tech shifts like AGI maybe.
Absolutely. These are huge forces way beyond any one person's control. Worrying endlessly about them. It's wasted energy. Real agility in 2025 comes from quickly accepting new realities and then adapting your controlled actions accordingly. It loops right back to that first point about perception.
Okay, practical steps.
Yeah.
How do we cultivate this acceptance muscle?
3 things to practice. First, discern control. Constantly apply the test. Is this internal, my judgments, actions, or external, market shift, competitor move? If it's external,
Move to step 2.
immediately. Step 2 is this happened. Practice stating the external event neutrally. No added drama, no emotional story.
Just instead of this inflation is killing us.
The inflation is rising, or the VC round fell through, or AI tool X is now free. Just the facts. Avoid the why me or this is awful narrative.
Just state it, like acknowledging reality plainly. Okay, and step 3.
Re-engage controlled action. Once you state the fact neutrally, pivot immediately back to what you can control. So, given inflation is rising, what adjustments can I make to pricing or expenses?
Or, given the round fell through, what other funding options can I pursue?
Exactly. Acceptance isn't passive resignation. It's not giving up. It's gaining the clarity you need to refocus your energy on effective action within the new reality.
You mentioned Jack Ma's situation as potentially illustrating this.
It's an interpretation, of course. But after facing significant external pressures and changes with Ant Group and Alibaba, his relative withdrawal from the public spotlight,
Yeah, he stepped back quite a bit.
and his reported focus shifting towards things like agriculture, philanthropy, travel, it could be seen as accepting the changed external landscape, accepting things he couldn't control, and redirecting his energy to areas where he could still act effectively.
Even with his resources, the principle holds.
The principle holds for everyone. Accept uncontrollable forces, then redirect your controllable actions.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive into Marcus Aurelius for 2025, these ancient ideas are seriously practical tools.
Absolutely. It's not about controlling the chaotic world out there. Your real power, especially facing 2025's challenges, the market swings, the AI acceleration lies in managing your inner world.
Controlling your perception, acting from duty and purpose,
Focusing on the quality of your actions, not just the outcome.
and accepting what you simply cannot change.
That's the blueprint. That's how you build that inner fortress.
So really embrace this ancient wisdom, your ability to do focused work, make ethical choices, and just maintain your well-being in 2025. It really depends on this internal management.
Definitely. So maybe a final thought to leave you with. Consider which one of these 4 principles really hits home for you right now. Perception, duty, action, or acceptance. Which one speaks most directly to your biggest challenge?
And then what's one small, concrete thing you could do, maybe even today, to start putting that principle into practice?